Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 29 of the TomTalks podcast. Let me see if I got the number right. Yeah, 29. Let's fucking go, dudes. Let's recap. Let's just get right into it, dude. One of the greatest divisional weekends of football I've ever seen in my entire lifetime. Bengals and Titans. And by the way, you're about to find out. You're about to find this out, but I went 0-4 this weekend. Every team I picked fucking lost. And it is depressing as fuck. But not depressing the fact that the games weren't great, just depressing the fact that I was wrong. So let's recap real quick. So Bengals and Titans. Dude, I thought the Titans were going to win this game pretty easily. Bengals O-line was shit, and I was right about the Titans defensive line dominating for the majority of the game. But Joe Burrow, dude, Joe Burrow is a guy. He is a dude. He's got that it. He's got that swag. He's got that confidence. He's just like, yeah, I don't give a shit how many times you sack me. I'm gonna still win this game. He got sacked 9 fucking times. One other quarterback in the history of the NFL has gotten sacked 9 times and still won a playoff game. That quarterback was Donovan McNabb against the Green Bay Packers in the 2003 divisional round. That was a crazy game. This was a crazy fucking game. And for the Titans, it's very disappointing because I thought the Titans were, I wouldn't say a lock for the Super Bowl, but they were definitely a favorites. It was really either them or the Chiefs who I thought were going to go to the Super Bowl. I wanted the Bills to go, but we'll talk about the Bills in a little bit. We'll talk about that game later. Derrick Henry came back. He had a solid game. So did that backup running back. He had a pretty good game too. But the reason they lost this game, there are 2 reasons why they lost this game. First reason is the obvious reason. Ryan Tannehill throwing 3 interceptions, including the first one, even the first interception on the first play of the fucking football game, not including the kickoff. First play of their first drive, fucking throws an interception right to the guy. He stared the guy down, the receiver down, and the defensive back just jumped right in front of him and fucking picked it off. And then he throws 2 more interceptions later in the game. And the third one, being the most costly, leads them to Zach McPherson, who is slowly becoming one of the most reliable field goal kickers in the NFL through this playoffs. He's become one of the most reliable kickers. Hits the game-winning field goal. And I just watched the interview on Pat McAfee saying, basically, yeah, hey boys, we're going to the AFC title game. That's some fucking confidence right there if I've ever seen it. That's a cocky motherfucker. So yeah, Ryan Tannehill played terribly. All he had to do was manage the game and not turn the fucking football over. But there's also another person you have to blame. You have to blame Coach Mike Vrabel for this loss as well. And let me explain why. After the first touchdown, after the Derrick Henry direct snap into the touchdown, Wildcat, they elected to go for 2. They were going to go for 1, but they had a penalty, and they moved it up to the 1 so they could go for 2. You got to take all the points you can get. I understand being aggressive, but there's no reason to be aggressive in the first fucking quarter like that. You take all the points you can fucking get. That was the first mistake, and the second big mistake that he made was, I think it was the either late 3rd or early 4th quarter. There was a 4th down, and the Titans went for it, and the Bengals stopped them. I believe that led to a field goal. I don't remember. I'll have to take a look back, but there was a 4th down that they went for and they missed it, where they were in field goal. Their field goal kicker could have made a field goal, or at least attempted it. And that cost them 4 points. They would have won that game 20. They probably won that game 20-16, and they would probably have been hosting AFC title game for the first time in franchise history. But Titans are 0-3 when the number 1 seed, which is crazy. They lost to all AFC North teams. This one being the Bengals, and the first 2 being the Baltimore Ravens, and I believe they used to be rivals in 2000. I believe in 2008 we were in the same division, but I don't quite remember off the top of my head. But yeah, that game blew my mind just for the fact that Joe Burrow and his boys just came back. Now they're playing the title game. This game, the Niners and Packers, was pretty crappy game, but this game also shows why special teams is also in a very important part of the game. If the Packers don't get that field goal blocked, and if they don't have their punt blocked for a touchdown, they win the game. They most likely win the game 13-3. But because that happened, they lost. And I'm not saying I blame mostly the special teams, but also Aaron Rodgers really didn't do enough after that first drive. After the first drive, they basically went out and punted almost every single time, I believe. But it shows that this 49ers team is very gritty, I didn't think they were going to win in this cold weather. I didn't think their offensive talent was going to be enough. I thought Jimmy G wouldn't come up clutch as he did in the fourth quarter. Which he did. He wasn't great, but he was stat-wise he wasn't that great, but he came through when he needed to come through. He led them through that last second field goal to win them the game. And that's what you got to respect about Jimmy Garoppolo. He may not be the most talented or the best quarterback in the league, but under Kyle Shanahan, the Niners are like third. I forget who said it. It was Colin Cowherd I was listening to. They're 35-13 with Jimmy Garoppolo as a starting quarterback, which is fucking insane. And Garoppolo's only issue is fucking really health. So if he stays healthy more, they probably would have won a Super Bowl already. But yeah, they didn't win Super Bowl 54, but we'll see. And now let's talk about this game. The Rams dominating early. I thought this was going to be something like this score, but not in the fashion that it happened. I thought that this was going to be back and forth for the entire game, but the LA Rams dominated that first fucking half. And the real momentum changer was that first fumble by Cam Akers, right near the end zone. They were going to, I believe it was it 24 or was it already? I think it was already 27-3 before the half. Cam Akers was running the football, and he fumbled it. Like, it was one of the craziest things. Like, he was like, the player tackled him, and right before his head hit the ground, the ball popped out, which I thought. I thought, I'm not sure about the head rule. I don't know. I know it's elbows, I know it's knee, and I know it's knee. If they touch the ground before the ball comes out, it's not a fumble. Or if they still have possession. I didn't think of the head was. I didn't know if the head was, but apparently it is. So, and then it's like and then the second half, combination of both the Rams seem to be purposely trying to lose the game, and the fucking Bucks are making possibly could have made one of the greatest playoff comebacks of all time. Almost happened. I think it was either the first or second drive of that half. Cooper Kupp fumbles that football right away. I believe they scored a touchdown. I don't remember. And then I know the other two. I do know that Stafford got the ball hiked up over his head, and the Bucks recovered. They scored a touchdown. Cam Akers fumbles, score another touchdown. They tie the game. But unfortunately, that Todd Bowles defense did not step up. Stafford threw to Cooper Kupp 2 plays in a row. Well, actually, not 2 plays in a row. First, he tried a QB draw like the Cowboys tried to do with Dak Prescott, but except this time they actually had a timeout. So after that, he threw. The first throw was to Cooper Kupp towards the sideline. He got out of bounds. The second time, supposedly, according to the Bucks, it was a miscommunication with the defensive front and the defensive backs. So they were doing a zero blitz, and Stafford saw Cooper Kupp wide open in the middle of the field, just throws right in the fucking middle. Antoine Winfield Jr. didn't know that it was supposed to be cover zero blitz, and he lets Cooper run by and catches the ball. Stafford quickly gets the line of scrimmage, spikes the ball with like 3-4 seconds left, and then this is right there. Gay hits the game-winning field goal as the time expired. So Brady almost pulled off another crazy comeback, and I picked the Bucks just simply on the fact that you can never count out Tom Brady, and I was wrong. So he officially lost his third game in the divisional round in his entire career. He was 14-3, which is fucking crazy. But now, let's talk about possibly the greatest non-Super Bowl or non-conference championship game of all time. The greatest divisional game ever that happened before our eyes. This is easily an instant classic. Chiefs and Bills. I picked the Bills to win just because I thought it was Josh Allen's time. I wanted Josh Allen to win. I want him to slay that dragon and get his ass to the Super Bowl. But it's not happening this year. Bills and Chiefs really went back and forth. I believe, Chiefs scored first. Bills were ballsy enough to go on fourth down twice on their opening drive. Scored a touchdown. And then I believe there's I just watched some of the highlights. There's Chiefs' second touchdown to what's his name? Fucking Pringle. Yeah, it was Pringle, not 17. Not Harbin. 13 is Pringle. I think it was like third and goal. Mahomes backs up. He literally chucks the ball in the middle of the field. And I didn't think he was throwing. I thought it looked like he was throwing it away. But fucking Pringle comes up big and catches that ball for their second touchdown. But look at the stat line. Gabe Davis, dude. He had himself a career fucking game. An all-time performance. 4 touchdowns, over 200 receiving yards in a playoff game. And the first player in Super Bowl era to ever fucking do that. No, not even Jerry Rice did that. Which is fucking crazy to say. And this... Excuse me. Josh Allen literally played the perfect fucking game. The reason they lost that game was because the Bills' defense was not prepared. They literally gave up. They were at the 25. I'm trying to think. So, another 25. I would say about, 40 yards. They gave up 40 yards in 14 seconds. And yes, the Chiefs did have 2 timeouts, but I know you're trying to play prevent defense. I know you're trying to not let Tyreek Hill beat you over the top like he did the one play, the one touchdown that they had. But you can't let them throw underneath either. Like, it's literally 4. It should have been 3 guys rushing, 8, and not total prevent, but like midfield prevent. Like, have a couple of the corners up to like 10 yards. Have 3 pass rushers. Have 3 people in the back. You have like 5 like in the middle. But they didn't do that. They fucking had they had 4 pass rushers and 7 defenders in the back. Like 20 yards off the ball. Trying to prevent the deep ball. First Mahomes throw was to fucking Tyreek Hill. He went up the field, went down right away. They called a timeout. And then Kelsey's just like, if they do that again, I'm just gonna go right across the middle. And that's exactly what he did. Kelsey faked the guy out, went across the middle, caught the ball, went down right away, called timeout. They put him in range for a fucking field goal kick. And he tied the game. And unfortunately, the only mistake Josh Allen made that night was calling the wrong fucking... He called tails, which I thought tails never fails, but fucking it failed for him that night. Heads, Chiefs got the ball, Patrick Mahomes drove down, and they scored the game-winning touchdown, dude. So, I agree with the fact that the game shouldn't come down to whether you win or lose the coin toss. But at the same time, your defense has to fucking prevent that shit from happening in the first place. So it's really both. So both things can be true. Your defense played trash at the last 14 seconds of the game. And yet I also believe that the overtime rules should be adjusted somewhat. What I think they should do, no kickoff. Just each team start their own 25. Whoever team gets the ball first, if they drive down, score touchdown, the second team has to score touchdown in order to keep it going, or it's over. But if the first team scores a field goal and the second team scores a touchdown, then the second team wins. So, yeah, I I don't know. Both things can be true. Overtime rules should be adjusted to that, and also the Bills defense played like absolute fucking garbage, allowing that shit to happen in the first place. So after that fucking crazy ass rant, let's go to the fucking title games. Let's see. Here we go. Conference championships. It's gonna come up. There we go. Let's see. Come on. So yeah, alright. I'll just show them right here. First game is the Bengals and the Chiefs, which no one, I don't even think anyone in the city of Cincinnati thought the Bengals were making it all the way to the AFC Championship game. I believe it's their first one on the road because the only two Super Bowls they've ever made, they both played the AFC. The only other two times they made the AFC Championship game that they played at home. The first one against the Chargers in that Freezer Bowl, one of the coldest games ever. I think it was like the second coldest, right behind Super Bowl one, where the Packers won the first Super Bowl against the Cowboys. Was that Super Bowl one, or was that? Or was that, I don't remember. Right now, off the top of my head, I don't remember. I think that was either the last quote unquote NFL championship or Super Bowl one. I can't remember right now because I'm drunk. I'm always drunk when I'm doing this. Anyway, so yeah, this is the first time the Bengals will ever be on the road during the AFC Championship game. Like I said, Joe Burrow is a guy. He's an absolute stud. He is a dude. Jamar Chase is an absolute stud, a dude. Same with Joe Mixon. Same with their tight end. Same with their T. Higgins. Same with Tyler Boyd. They're all guys. They're all dudes. But they're playing the Chiefs. And the Chiefs can become the fourth team in NFL history to make the Super Bowl 3 years in a row. The other three teams were, first was the Dolphins, then it was the Bills in the 90s. They lost all four of those. And then the Patriots not that long ago. It was, from 2016 to 2018. They won two of those and lost to my Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 52. But anyway. It's hard to say. I feel like one of two things is going to happen. It's either going to be very close. I believe the Chiefs are only favored by 7.5. They don't show the odds on this one, but whenever I usually do this, they usually show the FanDuel odds, sports betting odds. I believe the Chiefs are favored by 7.5, and I believe the Bengals are plus 7.5. I feel like one of two things are going to happen. Either A, Cincinnati is going to make it a really close game like they did the first time. The first time they played the Chiefs, it was like 34-31, and the Bengals won. But I don't think the Bengals are going to win. I think the Chiefs are going to win. So either it's going to be very close, the Chiefs are going to win by 3, or the Chiefs are going to blow them out. The Chiefs' defensive line is not as great as the Tennessee Titans, but the Titans sacked them 9 times. And I know the Titans lost, and I know that Titans' offense has been inconsistent all year, like they were on last weekend. But the Chiefs' offense, playoff pad has arrived. People had doubts about the Chiefs' offense from the beginning of the season because they started 3-4. Then they had the win streak. But dude, Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs is a different fucking animal. So one or two things are either going to happen. Either it's going to be a fucking shootout back and forth. It's going to be some crazy score like 45-42 Chiefs. Or the Chiefs' defensive line is going to get enough pressure on Joe Burrow. They're going to get enough sacks. I would say over under 5. I would say they get at if you were to tell me, give me over under 3, I would say over 3. If the Chiefs got 5 sacks, because I think Chris Jones can have a day, Frank Clark can have a day, and Melvin Ingram, who's improved that pass rush tremendously. If they can get to sack Joe Burrow 5 times, and all those sacks were like driver endings, they didn't score touchdowns or field goals. They had a punt on each of those. The Chiefs blow out the Bengals, and that's why I'm going with the Chiefs. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout, but I think it's gonna be not that close. I think it's gonna say at least 2 touchdowns. I think the Chiefs are going to win by 10 points or 14 points. I don't really know right now because it could really go either way. Either it's going to be like super close at the end, like it was with like last week in Bills and Chiefs, or the Chiefs are just gonna kick the fucking doors out of Cincinnati and tell them like, yeah, you're not here yet. You aren't that team yet. Patrick Mahomes gonna say, this is my fucking conference, which is what I think is gonna happen. And then the second, the Rams and 49ers. Rams are favored by 3.5. And I don't know. This is a tougher game to pick, I think. Because although San Francisco has beaten the Chiefs last 6 times, and I believe, in my opinion, they are the hottest team to come into the playoffs because they beat the Rams to get into the playoffs. Squeak by Dallas, squeak by Green Bay. They're on a good winning streak right now. And fucking Deebo Samuel is a dude. The running game is great. Trent Williams is a great fucking blocker who's questionable, but I think he's going to play. I find it hard to believe that he's going to keep himself out of the game. And the Niners' defensive line is very fantastic at getting to the quarterback. Even though the Rams' offensive line is solid, the 49ers' defensive line can cause havoc. They really, just with those front four, and they barely send pressure. Defensive coordinator D'Amico Ryans does not send a lot of pressure. And if he does, he'll throw them every now and again, like Fred Warner will come to the quarterback. The only weakness of the 49ers' defense is their defensive backs, but like I said, they dominated the first time they met each other this year. It was fucking 31-10. And although the second game was closer and the Niners won in overtime because Stafford threw an interception in overtime to end the game, I don't know. There's just something about this Rams team. It's hard to pick against them. I don't know right now, dude. This is actually a really tough game. It's conference, it's division rivals, it's fucking history. I don't know how many times they've ever met in the playoffs, but obviously their overall history is pretty significant. Dude, this is so tough. Quarterback-wise, I would absolutely choose Stafford over Garoppolo. Running game-wise, both need the running game in order to be successful. But I'm going to go with San Francisco's just because it's scheme. I would say playmakers / wide receivers, they're fucking even. Offensive line, if Andrew Whitworth is playing for the Rams this week, which I haven't heard anything yet, I think they'll be even. But if he's not, I would give the edge to San Francisco. Just because Trent Williams is a Hall of Fame tackle. Defense, I would say, like, pass rush defense / defensive line is fucking even. I would say the only real advantage the Rams have are quarterback, which is obviously the most important position, and defensive backs. Like, their defensive backfield is very, very good. And I think they can do just enough to stop Deebo Samuel, stop George Kittle, stop Brandon Ayuk. And I think he will be the X factor of this game. Because Elijah Mitchell is going to get his runs, he's going to get his carries. Deebo Samuel is going to get his running carries. He's going to catch the football. But I think if the Niners were to win this game, I think Brandon Ayuk needs to break out and have a fantastic fucking football game. He needs to have a fucking Gabe Davis type game where, I wouldn't say Gabe Davis, but like somewhere close to that. He needs like 100 plus yards, 2 touchdowns, just because the Rams decided not to game plan for him. But, yeah, both kickers are even. Robbie Gould's a great kicker. Matt Gay's a great kicker. Fuck, dude. This is really like a flip of the coin situation. I don't know who to fucking pick. I am going to say... I don't know if I want a rematch of Super Bowl 54. I don't. I don't want a rematch of Super Bowl 54. I want the Rams to make it. I want Stafford to have a chance to win the Super Bowl this year. So I'm going with the Rams Chiefs. Rams barely. It's the same thing as the week's 18, except Rams win it in overtime. That's what I'm going with. I don't know why. It's really like a gut. My gut just says the Rams. I just think Matt Stafford will make enough plays to win. And I don't know about Jimmy G. I don't know if he'll make the enough amount of plays to win them over the top. Ah, Jesus, that was really fucking tough to do, dude. So, like game wise, I think my Super Bowl 56, I think will be the Los Angeles Rams and the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that'll be fun. I'm hoping this will be like the 2018 game where they met in LA. It was like 54-51, something crazy like that. So now that's out of the way. Let's go over some coaching news. Some coaches have finally been hired. The charges have starting. The changes are starting to happen. First one, I believe, yeah, the first big one was Nathaniel Hackett's now the Denver Broncos head coach. I'll go over that in a second, and we'll go over that potential. Let's just go everyone that who's been hired right now. So Broncos are agreeing to terms with Nathaniel Hackett, the former Packers offensive coordinator. Bears defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus is now the head coach of the Chicago Bears. And now recently that was just announced. Where is it? Shit. Wasn't there another team that announced for head coach? Or am I going crazy? Well, I saw that Ravens had a defensive coordinator. I swear I thought another football team had. Well, Raiders are requesting an interview with Josh McDaniels. That's not anything crazy. I don't care for Josh McDaniels. I swear I thought I heard another coach being hired today. Oh well. But whatever. Let's go over these rumors that when it comes to Nathaniel Hackett being the coach of the Broncos. Since he's connected with Green Bay and he's connected with Aaron Rodgers, a lot of people are speculating that the Denver Broncos are going to try to trade for Aaron Rodgers, which I think that'd be a good fit for Aaron. Because the Broncos are a quarterback away from being a great team. Even though in that tough division they have Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes, they have to face twice a year. The Packers have a solid offense. They've got solid playmakers at wide receiver. They got Sutton. They got Jerry Jeudy, who I really like. They have Noah Fant, who's a solid tight end. Their offensive line is, for the most part, is solid. I think they just need I think another tackle would help them out a lot. And their defense, when Vic Fangio was the coach, he was a top 10 coordinator. He was automatically a top 10 coordinator, and I believe he was in the top 10 every single year he was the head coach for the Broncos. Their defense is always top 10, so they already have a solid defense. But another place that Aaron Rodgers I think could go is Indianapolis. I think if the Colts gave up, traded them Carson Wentz, which would be crazy. Carson Wentz 1 year's a Colt, and then next year's a fucking Packer, which I don't know if Packers fans would love that. I don't think they will. Just because of the terrible taste left in Colts fans' mouths in Week 18, losing to the fucking Jags the way they did. But that'd be crazy. The Colts have to send like Carson Wentz and like 3 first-round draft picks for the next 3 years. So 2023 to 2025. And I guess maybe another pick in there, like a second-round pick. A couple of second rounds, maybe a couple of thirds too. Who knows? I'm just making a scenario up right now. I don't know. But it depends. I don't know if no one knows what Aaron's going to do. He may retire. He may stay. He may want to head out. And supposedly, like, he's going to have. I don't know if Pat McAfee said it on his show or if there's rumor around saying it, but he's probably going to have a decision around by the time the combine starts. So like that early March weekend, whenever the combine starts in Indianapolis. They'll usually have information on crazy trades like that by then. So we'll see about that. Ben Roethlisberger retires. Let's go. So regarding obviously he's not a I've heard he's not a really great person off the field, but I don't want to say disregard that because it's kind of important, but on the field, Ben Roethlisberger was one of the last remaining few tough guys in the NFL. He would play hurt. He would play through injury. Led the Steelers to 2 Super Bowls with Cowher and Tomlin. And after that, it was just kind of. I mean, yeah, they played well. They went to another Super Bowl and lost to the Packers. and they made it to the AFC title game again. Lost to the Tom Brady's Patriots again, but I'm not. I know it sounds like gonna be a negative Nancy, and I do like Roethlisberger as a quarterback, but his career honestly was underwhelming. I feel like Ben should have won at least another Super Bowl or two. Like obviously, like he had a great defense around him for both Super Bowls. He had great weapons around him. He had Hines Ward, Santonio Holmes, Heath Miller. Well, Santonio wasn't part of the first Super Bowl, but yeah, he always had good weapons around him. He was like good running backs, a good offensive line until like the end of his career. Like these until these last few years he played, he didn't really have that great of an offensive line, but just crazy. All the '04 quarterbacks have officially retired. First was Eli. Eli first retired, then Philip Rivers, and now Ben Roethlisberger. Crazy. And let's go. And Bears hire Matt Eberflus. He's a great defensive coordinator. I don't know how he's going to be as a head coach. Like, I'm more so for Chicago. I'm disappointed for them because I thought they would be better off hiring an offensive coach for Justin Fields because I think there's something there with Justin Fields. I think he can be a great quarterback. I want to say great, but he like a top half of the league quarterback with the right coach. And I don't know if Eberflus is that guy. I mean, I guess if he hires the right offensive coordinator and if they bolstered up that offensive line, I think Justin Fields can be a solid quarterback for them. And Dan Quinn was a hot name. And off of that, now Dan Quinn was a hot name coming off of head coaching rounds, interviewing with teams. But he's just gonna say Dallas, which sucks for my Eagles because they improved. Excuse me. Vikings hired a GM. He was I don't know. I forget where he was before, but now they're gonna look for their head coach. I wonder that'll be an interesting place to see who they hire for their head coach. See what happens there. And then yeah, that's really it for news. Oh wait, hold on. Sean Payton retired. Well, I don't know if he would. Really crazy to say. I don't know what happened. Like it doesn't sound like he's retiring, but at the same time, it's just he said he wants to come back. It's just this year he doesn't want to coach. So I don't know what's the situation with Sean Payton. There's a lot of speculation that he wants to go to Dallas, and that would suck. But if McCarthy does well again, there's really going to be no reason for them to fire Mike McCarthy. Even though I think Sean Payton. Excuse me, fuck. I do think Sean Payton would make the Cowboys a better contender than Mike McCarthy. As much as I hate saying it. I feel like Dak Prescott would be a much better quarterback under Sean Payton's system than he would under McCarthy's system right now with Kellen Moore. And I know Kellen Moore's making the rounds of interviewing with a head coaching job, so I heard nothing yet as official of him being hired, but we'll find out. Hope maybe soon, maybe the next couple weeks. Oh right, and this just happened. Giants finally hired head coach Brian Daboll. So we'll see what happens. I don't think he's going to do well with Daniel Jones. I think they're going to get rid. They should. If the Giants were smart, they would get rid of Daniel Jones after this year because he's been a trash quarterback. And I know Daboll's great. He was great with Josh Allen, but Daniel Jones isn't. I don't think Daniel Jones is nearly as talented as Josh Allen is. I mean, I would say he's more mobile, but other than that, he does have somewhat of an arm, but I don't think he's the playmaker that Josh Allen is. So, Josh Allen, like under Daboll, made him like every year he steadily improved to be a top. Now he's arguably a top 5 quarterback. I won't say arguably, he is a top 5 quarterback. You really can't, in my opinion, he's number 4. But you can make the case for 5, but he's not out of the top 5 as of right now. Player of quarterbacks in the league. So I'm interested to see what else the Giants do. especially coming up in the draft with 2 first-round picks in the top 10. So other than that, there's really nothing else that's going on in the NFL world. This is an awesome episode. Got to ramble my ass off. Now I want to play the new Pokemon game, Legends Arceus. And one episode, I think will be the next episode. I would like to get a review out on that and play as much as I can before next week and get a review of Legends Arceus. So until next time, friends, be safe, get drunk, have fun. Peace out.